I'm the Reverend Dr. Derrick Harkins, and I'm the pastor of the 19th Street Baptist Church, and I serve as the National Director of Faith Outreach for the Democratic National Committee. Faith is an important factor in many people's lives, and so we at the Democratic National Committee respect the fact that one's faith can inform some aspect, if not a large aspect, of being part of the electoral process, electing a president and other officials. So that's at least part of the reason for my work. But then what I really do is make it a point to link and connect with leaders within the faith community to try to make sure that people clearly do understand the advancements of, the priorities of, the vision of this administration and its implications within the faith community across the entire spectrum.
If you were playing a video game where you design your characters, it would be hard to design a character to be the head of the DNC faith office that would be a better fit than what Derrick brings as far as his different traits, his background, his experience.
We've got too much to lose and everything to gain. Shouting time is coming.
He's African American, which is important. So when Democrats think faith outreach, normally the first thing that most of them think about is black church work.
I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, in the latter part of the 60s and into the 70s, and was a member of the Antioch Baptist Church. That was at the height of a lot of what was going on around the country. I was very young when Dr. King was assassinated, but his example resonated with myself and many people of my generation. I also was very fortunate to have as a pastor Emmanuel Branch. He was a graduate of Yale Divinity, which was quite rare for an African-American pastor, certainly even in the 60s. But he exemplified, again, just that broad sense of using every one of your skills and abilities to do the most good. In church, I was very active, and a lot of people maybe even made the presumption that I should be a minister.
The Reverend Derrick Harkins first came to the Abyssinian Baptist Church as a result of a recommendation. I found him to be a good, as we might say, brother. He knew how to work with you, a little ambitious, but not pretentious. And he was always willing to be involved and to do whatever he could. Police brutality was a big issue. Crack, cocaine. That was at a time when people still felt that AIDS was a curse from God. And I guess as now, when the homosexual community just wasn't understood, Reverend Harkins did a good job. He's got great skills for ministry. And those skills for ministry have been demonstrated at New Hope, Dallas, then at 19th Street, and now with the DNC.
Faith is an integral part of the Democratic Party.
Faith outreach in the Democratic Party has had its ebbs and flows. I think that the party learned a lot of lessons from 2010. We saw huge losses, especially in our swing areas, from giving up on these strategies that had worked in the past, faith outreach particularly being one of them. And I think we're seeing that building up now, coming into 2012.
How dare anybody say that faith is not an integral part of who we are as a party?
As a person of faith, I'd want to make sure that health care is accessible to Americans. I'd want to make sure that there's a tax code that allows for Americans to pay their fair and ethical share. I'd want to make sure that education was there. I'd want to make sure that industries that have been the bedrock of families, have been the bedrock of communities, like the automobile industry, are able to continue to thrive. And these are all things that have been advocated for, exemplified by this president, and that he continues to advocate for it.
The challenge for the Reverend Derrick Harkins will be primarily in the broader outreach.
They're not having as much success as they had last time with either older evangelicals or younger evangelicals.
Derrick doesn't necessarily agree 100% with Democrats on some of the issues that other Christians may not agree with. And so it gives him a broad range of credibility on these issues.
And because he's personable, I think he might be able to bring them around to the nexus between faith and politics so that they can see that their individual faith beliefs may not get in the way of their political stands, totally.
I think for me, it's been important as a pastor, as a minister, when you talk about the faith community, to always think of it as robustly inclusive, meaning that we've got to make sure that we never have language, we never have even doctrine or practice that makes it look as if we're building walls. And if we can make sure that we do that effectively, I think then we're doing an awful lot to propagate what we preach and teach. You know, I've heard it said a lot more probably eloquently than I could ever say it. You know, the churches should be hospitals for sinners and not museums for saints. And I think, therefore, it's important for me to always make sure that what I'm doing is relevant and meaningful to the broadest cross-section of people, and to address those challenges. I'm finding that we're in a good place as we move toward November. I'm happy about the level of engagement that we're able to have by way of faith outreach, and people indeed are responding to that.